good evening, and welcome to another episode of Off the Dribble, presented and powered by the Warner Robins All Stars. As always, we appreciate everybody by joining us. I don't know what Coach Tat is laughing about, but it got me already. But here we go.
Oh man, my bad, man.
So without further ado, let me introduce the squad, man. Coach Tat.
What's up?
Coach Charles G.
What it do, y'all?
Here we go. Hey, and I'm KP, man. We got a special guest, man, a friend of the show, Coach Hixon. Chadwick Hixon is going to be on the show tonight. But before we get to him, I definitely want to give a shout out to our sponsors, KPB Designs, Hype South Media, Hype South Skills Lab, and 619 Training. So as always, man, we appreciate you guys sponsoring us and looking out and supporting us. As far as the viewers out there, if you got any questions, anything you want to ask during the show, this is going to be a very informative show, just like the last time when Chad was on here. Send a message. We'll get the question up so we can make sure we get all the answers and everything you need. But like I said, without further ado, Charles, let's bring a special guest on. Coach, what's up?
Hey, what's going on?
How's everything?
Everything's good. Very
good.
Blessed. Can't complain.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, excited to have you back on the show, man, for you to be able to drop more information and knowledge on us. Before we get to it, let's just run down your bio real quick. Academic advisor over at Georgia State. Assistant coach, Centennial High School. Head coach at Atlanta Lightning, 17U. 4-year player over at Emory University. And you actually started coaching at Emory as a volunteer assistant. Did I get it right?
Yes, sir.
Assistant coach, Centennial High School. Good. Hey, so, so Coach, since the last time you've been on the show, what's been going on?
Not much. Just trying to survive in this pandemic. My team didn't play this year, so hadn't had anything going on really basketball-wise. Just started doing 4x1s at Centennial a couple of weeks ago, so I've been working out with some of our kids up there. Been to some fall league games up at Swanee Sports Academy. Right now, just waiting for the high school season to start on the 26th.
Yeah. Hey, those fall league games, those are high school teams or
yeah, high school teams.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you guys playing in those?
Yeah, we've been playing up at Swanee Sports Academy.
Okay. What y'all look like?
We'll have a pretty good team when we get everybody together. Yeah, should be pretty good.
We're
in a tough region, but we should be pretty good.
You're keeping that scouting report close to the vest, ain't
you? Got to.
So, who's in your region?
Oh man, I can't name all of them, but I know we got Chattahoochee, and they won a state championship last year. So we got them. I believe we have Riverwood, some Cherokee County schools. I think Sequoia is in our region. I want to say Cambridge is in our region still. Pretty tough region.
6A?
6A, yeah.
6A, okay.
6A.
Okay.
Riverwood. So Riverwood, that first year up was up to 6A.
It'll be this year because they were 5A last year.
5A, okay.
It's gonna be the first year, yeah. Because when I used to coach at Grady, they were in our region in the 5A.
Right.
What's the makeup of your team, Coach, as far as class?
Got a nice mix. We got some pretty good senior players. Logan Turner and Kyle Duncan. We got a pretty talented junior as well, and Wade Carl. Good sophomore point guard. So we got a nice little balance to it. Pretty decent size. Not huge, but yeah, we'll take it.
Right.
Now, what do you call huge?
We're big on the wing. Like Logan and Kyle are both in that 6'5" range, but and our point guard Mansur, he's about 6'2". But we ain't got no 7-footers. That's what I meant. So why you shaking your head, Coach?
But you know we don't see no 7. Well, I mean we got a 6'9", 6'10" kid here. Well, we got two.
Yeah, I was about to say we got two.
One at Northside and one at Veterans. But we don't see kids like that want around. Biggest we get is 6'6". That might be 6'6".
I would say we're big on the perimeter, not so much on the interior. Like I said, we got good size on the wing and at the guard position. aside from Wade, we don't have a whole lot of size at that 4 or 5 spot. But
that's what I'm saying, Coach. The 6'5" is all centers, all big. But this year we got a 6'3" big.
size is overrated, Coach.
Yeah,
They can play. They can play. So.
you right about that.
Hey, tell Miami that.
Well, that's a talent discrepancy.
Yeah.
True, very true.
Hey, so Coach, what during that fall league, I think that's a good opportunity for you guys to get out and actually play and all that type of stuff. So, I'm excited for y'all.
Yeah, I'm happy we got a chance to do it, and I was able to get up there and watch the kids play in person. And a lot of them I hadn't seen play in person, so I'm glad I was able to do that. And it helps with the individual workouts because you know what guys can and can't do.
Right.
So it'll make us better for the season.
So, Coach, let me ask, what's your forte? On you on the offensive side or the defensive side?
I say in AAU more offensive just because we only get so much time. I try to make sure our guys get up shots and they understand the concepts and things like that that we want to implement. I think I probably understand the defensive side of basketball better.
Okay.
And can teach it and explain it a little bit better, but I like offense too. And I'd say I really like what I call the special teams aspect, like baseline out of bounds, sideline out of bounds, that sort of stuff. Oh, those are the things I like scouting those for other teams and things like that.
All right, so I'm gonna throw this question to you, right? And I guess it's the old age debate. You up 2? Are you up? Yeah, up 2. In the whole 3-point question, do you foul and put them at the line, or do you let them shoot 3?
You mean if we up 3?
Yeah, up 3.
I'm fouling, and I'm gonna tell you why. I've lost games by not fouling. Like when I used to coach at Lakeside, we had a chance to go to the state tournament. Mm-hmm. We were up 3, didn't foul. Central Gwinnett hits a 3, ties it, then we lose in overtime. So I'm fouling. Yeah.
Every time?
I'm fouling. Yeah, absolutely.
I say depending on the time on the clock.
Well, yeah, definitely depending on
time on the clock and foul, and I would say fouls to give because I know we were in a situation in the semifinals down in Fort Valley in 2013, I want to say, and we were up 3, and I think it was about 15 seconds to go in the game, and we had 2 or 3 fouls to give, and let them bring it down, get it across, run some time off foul, and we did that and got it down, and we got it down to about 3 seconds, and they went to the free throw line and made one, missed the second one on purpose, and almost got the offensive rebound and put it back to win the game. But it's a good strategy to have. But like I say, depending on the time and the fouls to give.
Yeah, definitely. If I got fouls to give, absolutely fouling. I'd say even if I don't, I'm like I said, we lost like that game would have put us in the state tournament. Like I'm fouling.
Yeah. So. Now is that the same thought process on the AAU side as the high school side?
I lost an AAU game similar to that as well, so I'm fouling.
Yeah. What it is.
Yeah. And I do. I think the thought process might be different with high school because we lost that game. Season's over. We win that game, we're guaranteed 3 more. But I'm fouling.
Yeah, I think I'm a little different. Well, I ain't gonna say I'm a little different, but it's coaching. Period. I don't care what it is. AAU, rec ball, high school. I don't care what it is. I'm approaching it the same way. So yeah, I'm fouling.
Yeah. I think just because we deal with, and not speaking for Coach Charles, but just because we deal with the younger kids, I don't know if they fully understand go foul. Now make sure you get
the older kids don't either though.
I think there's kids individually that understand it, right? So you have certain ones that'll pick it up. It's like, all right, the one that I need to pick it up is the one that got, or the one that don't pick it up. How do you put it? The one that I don't need to foul because he's in foul trouble and I need him in the game, that would be the one that goes foul and now you out the game. I don't need you to foul.
Right.
I need the other one. They got one foul or two fouls or whatever.
And I'm talking more on the make sure you get the rebound side.
Well, yeah, right.
Good thing is, you foul, you can make substitutions. So if you do have, bigs that you can put them in and get them on their line, and hopefully they box out and get the rebound.
Right.
Well, Coach Sat just talked about it. We ain't floating with that many bigs.
well, hold on, Kenny. Now, Kenny, you got a eighth grader that's bigger than our varsity kid right now.
Well, yeah. Yes, we do, and we haven't. Fortunately or unfortunately, I guess fortunately, we haven't been in that scenario that we had to play that, but we're gonna figure it out. We may simulate that in practice.
Oh yeah, have to.
Yeah, you have to. I agree.
In the game.
Oh yeah, you definitely got to practice it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. So they can fully understand it.
Mm-hmm.
So. But enough for trying to get all your coaching secrets, Coach. Okay. Antonio already on it, huh? All good. Hey, so Coach, now the school's back in session. Last time we talked to you, school wasn't in. Now the school's back in session. Kind of give you this opportunity to kind of speak to the student athletes again as far as what should they be looking for as they're coming up on the end of this first semester, so to speak, and where they need to be going, especially our seniors.
Yeah, definitely. Class of 2021, the FAFSA became available on October 1st. So that, that's 3 days ago. If you haven't done that, you need to hop on that, as soon as possible and get it done. The quicker you get that done, the quicker you'll be able to get, information back from whatever school you're looking at in terms of what the finances look like. So, the overwhelming majority of our kids are not getting full athletic rides. So we got to figure out another way to pay for school. One of the ways of doing that is through the FAFSA. That's going to determine the amount of federal aid that you're eligible for. So the quicker you get that application in, the quicker you'll have that information, and the quicker the school can put together whatever financial aid package they have to send you. That way you have all the information you need when you start looking to make your decision about where you want to go to school. Because finances are definitely going to play a role in it, and you can't make an informed decision about finances if you don't have all the information.
Yeah. Coach, let me ask you this. First of all, can you kind of give us what FAFSA means, right? And then the right. And then, thank you. And then the other side of that.
Got to say it fast.
I told you that. Faster.
Hey, hold on, y'all. We spent about 5 minutes before the show.
It's told you gotta say it fast, Kenny.
Yeah, he did.
Told you that, man.
So, Coach, can you, the F word that you used.
Yeah, it's an acronym. It stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid. Right now, those students, they need to fill out the 2021-22 application. So that's for students who are going to be starting school in the fall 2021 semester. So that application will cover the fall 21, spring 22, and summer 22 semesters. So a lot of kids do get confused and they go on there because there's actually two applications available. The 2020-21 is on there, and now also the 21-22 is on there. They need to do the 21-22 one because they're planning on starting classes in that fall 21 semester.
So then they would have to fill that out every year as well once they get.
Yeah, you got to fill it out every year because circumstances do change sometimes, and that can affect the aid that you're eligible for. If a parent lost their job or got a better job and started making more money, stuff like that can impact it.
Okay. And then as far as and is that not, I don't want to use the word free money, but is that money that would have to be paid back?
So the application is free. So that's what the first F stands for. But it's going to determine like the federal aid you're eligible for. So Pell Grant, for instance, a grant is not something you have to pay back, but it also determines if you're eligible for like certain federal loans. Those do have to be paid back.
Right.
Now you're not required to accept those loans, but they do present them to you as options to kind of fill in that gap if there's any money that you still owe to resolve whatever balance you might have.
Right.
And so like grants and scholarships don't have to be paid back. So you want to focus on getting grants and scholarships. You want to, if you can, avoid loans unless you absolutely have to. I'm speaking to somebody who has a bunch of student loans. Avoid them if you can.
Okay. And then is that applicable to student athletes to get scholarships?
Yeah, it is. Kind of what I was talking about earlier. The majority of our kids are not getting full athletic rides. So if you look at, the non-D1 levels, so a lot of D2 schools try to stack money. So, they'll give you a partial athletic scholarship, and then we try to fill in the rest of that gap with, it could be academic money if you got good grades and test scores. They could also try to fill it in with any kind of need-based aid, if you get Pell Grant or something like that. And you can also use, outside scholarships and grants that you get from like some outside businesses or organizations.
So, hey, Coach, kind of walk us through this. So a kid gets an offer, right? So for 2021, they got an offer. What is the next step for a kid that gets that offer as far as the FAFSA and stuff like that and applying to college? What does that process look like?
Well, first thing, I would try to get some clarification on what that offer entails. If it's from a scholarship program, how much money are they offering, and how does that relate to the overall balance? If it's from like a Division III school, that doesn't offer athletic scholarships, then you already know there's no money involved. So the money question to start off in terms of the amount of scholarship is key. Because if it's a full athletic ride, then you got everything covered for the most part. So that would be the first thing I would look at. But again, I'd say go ahead and do the FAFSA. Again, it's free. It's not costing you anything. And again, if you're looking at a non-Division I program, or I shouldn't say that. I should say if you're dealing with a situation where it's not a full athletic scholarship, then it makes sense to do it. And it helps those coaches, because if I'm a Division II or NAIA coach and I got a limited budget, it helps me if I can divert some of that athletic money to another student athlete, because one of my kids that I'm bringing in, he got Pell Grant, or he's got an academic scholarship he can use. It helps the program maximize their funds.
So, Coach, for the record, when these kids are getting these offers, it's still adamant for them to go ahead and apply for that school to make sure they're able to get in.
Yeah, right. I mean, you can't play basketball at school unless you get admitted to it. So,
right.
Again, to kind of go back to the original question, if I'm a 2021 kid and I've got some offers right now, and there's schools that I'm interested in that I would like to attend, I need to go ahead and get that admissions application done, like right now. Get that done and get the FAFSA sent in. That way, you can get those things knocked out the way, and it's going to show that coach that you're genuine in your interest, and it's going to put you to the top of the line versus kids who aren't, getting those things done.
Now, Coach, now when you filling out the FAFSA, you can apply that a FAFSA to more than one school, right? It doesn't have to be just one.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, you can send it up to 10 schools. You just have to enter their code in when you're filling it out, and then that information will get sent directly to their financial aid people. So it's best to do it when you first filling it out. It's just helpful. I mean, you can always go back in and add schools, but if you have that information on the front end, I'd just say go ahead and get it knocked out the way.
What's the normal turnaround to know if you got approved for anything?
So normally when you do it, you should get some sort of confirmation pretty much right after you do it, and they kind of give you a preliminary read on what you may be eligible for. And then I think usually about maybe like 48 hours later, you get what's called a student aid report. It's a little bit more detailed in terms of some of the things you may be eligible for. And that's coming directly from the federal government. Once the school gets it, again, they're not going to look at your financial aid stuff unless you've applied to the school. So you got to apply to the school and do all that. And then once you've done that, got accepted, then they're going to start trying to put together some sort of package for you.
Okay. And when you say package, what does that consist of?
Yeah, so they'll use that information from the FAFSA to determine, whatever need-based grants, scholarships, or even loans you're eligible for. And so they'll put all that together along with whatever academic money you're eligible for. If you got an athletic scholarship, that'll be on there. And they basically just send you an award letter outlining all the money you've been awarded in relation to what the overall cost is. And so you'll see what the balance left over is, if there's a balance, and those sorts of things.
Okay. So, and then I wasn't aware of this before, but from talking to some people, I guess the loans, the different type of, I guess, grants, I wouldn't call it a loan, I guess a grant that you can get from fraternities and whatnot. Can you kind of speak on that?
Yeah. And that's a really important piece because I think a lot of people miss out on those opportunities. I would first start off, if I'm a student athlete in the state of Georgia, I need to be focused on making myself eligible for the Hope Scholarship. That's the easiest way to get money, is just by being eligible for that. Right. And even making yourself eligible for Zell Miller, which is a little bit more difficult because GPA is higher, and then there's also a test score element to it. Right. But getting one of those, that's the easiest way to knock down that cost right off the bat. And as far as like fraternities and sororities, like I said, I think I mentioned last time I talked with you guys, like my chapter, I mean, we give away thousands of dollars every year in college scholarships to students in DeKalb County. I know other chapters around the state do it. I'm 99.9% sure that the Macon Warner Robins Noops give away scholarships. But it's not just, Kappa, Alpha Psi. It's Alphas give away scholarships, AKAs give away scholarships, Deltas give away scholarships, Sigmas, Zetas, Iotas, all the Divine Nine provide college scholarships to students every year in a large amount. It's just a matter of getting connected to those opportunities, being aware of them first, and then applying and hopefully earning that money. And you make it easier on yourself if you got good grades, good test scores, you're doing community service. If you're a student athlete, you're doing well in that area and those sorts of things. And like with us, we have what's called Kappa League. It's kind of one of our youth development programs. So, students involved in our Kappa League program, they typically get scholarships as well. So, getting involved with those organizations at a younger age, helps to strengthen those connections and then connects you to more opportunities to help school more affordable.
And is that something that they can continue once they're in college?
I know organizations offer scholarships for current college students, absolutely. And then, like I said, it's not just fraternities and sororities. I mean, businesses offer different scholarships. Some churches offer scholarships. There's a lot of nonprofits that offer scholarships as well. The money is out there, but you got to put yourself in position to be eligible for it. You do that by having grades. I would say test scores whenever we start taking the SAT and ACT again, for the most part. And then, like I said, doing community service, being involved at your church, if you go to church, all those sorts of things can make you eligible for more money. Being in the band, orchestra, art, theater, all that kind of stuff opens up more opportunities for you.
Okay. And then the last question, and I'm gonna let Coach Tat go. But as far as applying for those grants, some people may think it's a big ordeal to do it, or what exactly does that entail? And to simplify, look, it's here. It's not something that's a tremendous task if you just do X, Y, and Z.
Gotcha. I mean, like Hope and Zell, that's not something you have to apply for. That's going to be based upon, your grades and test scores in the case of Zell. So there's no application process for that. If you're eligible for and you apply to, a school that uses those scholarships, that money's going to automatically be given to you. As far as those outside scholarships, And it's honestly frustrating. You know, I'll just give an example. You know, with my AAU organization this year, we decided to start a scholarship for our 2020 kids. So we were going to do 2 $500 scholarships. All I asked them to do, I asked them to fill out a 1.5-page application and to write a 350 word or less essay answering the question. Emphasis on that or less. And I had one kid apply, and I sent out constant reminders. You know, I sent it to them on like May 31st. Said, hey, this is due August 15th. It's 2.5 months. So I gave them 2.5 months to fill out 1.5 pages and write a 350 word or less essay. And I had one kid apply. So what we decided to do is, I mean, he got it automatically, obviously, but instead of doing the 2 $500 scholarships, I just said we're gonna do one $1,000 scholarship. So we gave him $500 for the fall. We're gonna give him another $500 in the spring. So I bring that up to say we like to complain about not having opportunities and being slept on, et cetera, but we don't take advantage of a lot of the opportunities that are presented to us.
Right.
But then we like to complain.
Mm-hmm. And that's something that me and you talked about too as well. And I think that we actually talked about. We actually, you know, gonna try to implement as well as a scholarship of our own. You know, to try to give those kids something to, you know, look forward to and a way to help them out for the ones that are doing whatever they're supposed to do.
Yeah,
and you know,
I'm just like, why do I have to beg you to why am I having to beg you to let me give you money?
Right.
So
we and, you know, that's something that, you know, that I commend you on, and as soon as I said it, I hit you up like, man, you know, we want to try to do the same thing. I think that's a good thing. That's a good thing to have and to do. So I mean, and the thing about it is, man, what I think these kids don't really realize is the opportunity they have. They have a easier road, I think, to getting to college than a lot of us ever had. I think it's a lot more grants, a lot more scholarships, you know, things that they're getting these days that we didn't get or didn't know about.
You know, but
So
yeah, I agree. I know we talk about it within the lens of basketball, but I just look at it just as a young person trying to go to college. If you want to go to college for free, you can go to college for free.
Right.
Like, you can do it. Like, if you get the grades, you can go to college for free. Now, does that mean you're going to go to like Harvard for 4 years? Maybe not, but maybe you go to a junior college for 2 years for free, and then you transfer to your last 2 years to a 4-year school for free. But like, you can go to school for free if you want to. If you do what you need to do, you can do it.
So Coach, what's good? You know, I know we kind of talked about the seniors, what, you know, 2021s and what they should be doing, but to effectively prepare themselves at an early age as far as a freshman. What should a freshman be doing if they're looking to get scholarships, if they're trying to be recruitable to play basketball? What are some of the things they should be doing now?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think I kind of talked about this a little bit last time. There's really no one size fits all to this recruiting thing. Everybody has their own individual goals and aspirations. So, and again, it's hard to ask a 14-year-old, you know, what they want to do with the rest of their life, because they don't know. That there's so much they haven't seen. But if I'm talking to a freshman and he tells me, you know, I want to go to Harvard, okay, well, we need to map out a plan of what you need to do to get to Harvard. So you need to be taking these AP classes, these IB classes. You need to be doing X amount of community service. You need to be get involved in, you know, XYZ student club and those sorts of things. You need to do really well in your classes, obviously. So you do that for, you know, 4 years, and that's going to that'll put you hopefully in a position to apply to get in. There's no guarantee, obviously, but and from a basketball perspective, grades, just stay on top of your grades. You got to, if you start off strong, it's much easier to maintain it over those 4 years. And again, it just opens up so many more opportunities for you if you have good grades versus not having good grades. So I'd start there. Again, I say, basketball is great, but if there's something else you're interested in, pursue it. Join a club if you want to be in the orchestra or band or something like that, and you can do it. Then I say do it. Again, that's just more money and opportunity for you.
Right. So kind of talk to I think at freshman year, I think a lot of parents, this stuff isn't on their radar, but there's core classes that kids have to take to be eligible to even receive a D1 or D2 scholarship, D3, whatever the case may be. So those parents should know, what those are and get what those counts. Can you talk to that a little bit?
Yeah. I'm not even going to try to say I have all those classes memorized, but it is on the NCAA website. But just to be real general, I mean, if you stick to like a basic core curriculum, like making sure you do 4 years of English, 4 years of math, 4 years of social studies, 4 years of science, and I believe it's three years of a foreign language.
Mm-hmm.
If you do those things, you'll be in good shape.
Yep.
But yeah, you're absolutely right. And then another part of that is getting all the eligibility center stuff done with the NCAA as well as the NAIA. If you can start off doing that, maybe second semester of your ninth grade year, once you've gotten your first transcript, then it makes sense to do it then, and then you can just continue sending in that information along the way. You're gonna have to do it at some point if your goal is to play at the Division I or Division II or NAIA level. So the earlier you can get it done, the better. It's just one less thing on your to-do list.
Coach, can you kind of talk on that? What exactly that means? I'm sorry.
Hey, let me say something real quick, KP. So if y'all don't know what those core courses are, there's a website. If you go to our website, in the link that's attached to this page, there's a section that says eligibility, and it would take you to the NCAA core classes and what is needed for a freshman. So if you don't know what that is, go to our website and find out what that is. It's there for public information, so you can talk to your counselor and make sure that your kid's on the right track. Sorry about that.
And no. That's actually a really good point. I probably should have led with that. Talk to your counselor. If let your high school counselor know what your goals and aspirations are, and let he or she help you create a plan of action to get there. And the earlier you do it, the better.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, Charles. That definitely took precedence over what I was going to ask. As far as understanding and knowing what those co-casters are, but as far as Coach, if you kind of speak to being able to send those transcripts in, and what does that really mean? As far as I want to play at the next level, and you're saying send those transcripts in and get on that course. What does that mean?
Yeah, so the NCAA has to certify that you're eligible to be a student athlete. Same with the NAIA. So they do that by reviewing your transcripts to make sure you've taken the appropriate courses and gotten the right grades in those classes, making sure you got the right GPA as well. And once they've done that and certified that you're eligible, that allows you to participate in competition at that level. So again, the earlier you get your transcript in, the sooner it can be reviewed, and hopefully there's no issues. But again, the earlier you have that information in, the better it's going to be for you in the long term.
Right, and I think it's also important to footstomp that the freshman year is extremely important. I think a lot of people don't realize how important, or that starts the clock, so to speak, as far as your grades. But that freshman year is extremely important as far as those transcripts go.
Absolutely, because everything counts at that point. So when you go to apply to college, they're going to look at all 4 years of your transcript. So and obviously that would include your freshman year. So you want to get off to a good start. And again, it's just easier to stay solid if you start off in a good way than trying to catch up later. See a lot of kids that they figure out the second semester of their junior year that they need to take school serious, and it's I won't say it's too late, but like you've limited yourself and the opportunities that could be available to you. And I'm speaking from personal experience. So I graduated high school with like a 3.2, and I easily should have had like a 3.6, 3.7. So
And I think it's equally important for these athletes to understand, like, the higher your GPA, the less you have to score on your
Yes.
SAT. So the lower your GPA, the higher you need to score.
Yep.
So do what you need to do now, so you don't find yourself in that situation. So I know Coach Chat been doing this for a long time. He probably got stories after Yazoo, but do what you need to do now. So that would be my thing.
Yeah, absolutely. It operates on my bad, Coach Tad. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I'm just gonna piggyback off what Coach Charles said. Yeah, it operates on a sliding scale. So, like he said, the higher your GPA, the lower your test scores have to be. So, put yourself in a position to make it as easy as possible on you, and also to just create more opportunities for yourself. Because, like I said, just grades is the most common way to earn money for college.
Right. I think a lot of them, man, that I've encountered. When you say, what's your GPA, to go to college, it's they're not thinking about the core GPA. They're thinking about the overall GPA, and I don't think a lot of them have been talked to about that core GPA versus the overall GPA. Because when those schools and coaches start calling, they want to know what that core GPA is.
Yep.
And that's what we have to explain to a lot of them. Like, when we ask, hey, what's the GPA? Oh, my GPA is 3.6 or 3.5. Okay, what's your core GPA? 3.5. Can't be that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Both of them can't be the same now. So, and then you have to get them to go to the counselor, and then that's when the talk starts to the core GPA and your FAFSA and all that stuff started being talked about then, because that they have to learn. They got to learn the difference between that overall GPA and that core GPA.
Hey, Coach, what talk to a little bit about the clearinghouse. Like, when should a kid be entering that? You or Chad or
Well, I think I was kind of talking about that a little bit earlier. I'd say after that first semester of your ninth grade year, once you get that first transcript, you can go ahead and start submitting stuff to the clearinghouse and the eligibility center. But I mean, some people wait till they're like junior year or so to do that. But I mean, I'd say if you know that's what you want to do, go ahead and do it as soon as possible. So once you get that first transcript, go ahead and send it in. And kind of piggyback on what Coach Tad was saying, that core GPA. So, like team sports, that's not counting towards your core GPA. So you try to like load up on those type of classes. It's not helping you from that standpoint. And then another thing, you have a hope GPA. So for kids in the state of Georgia, there's certain classes that are going to count towards that hope GPA. That's why it's important to not talk to your counselor, then also log into that Georgia Futures website and see your account and see what your hope GPA is. Because again, that's just it's free money. Like, it can make school so much more affordable if you get that hope scholarship, and it can really keep you from having to go into debt. So grades, man, grades.
So we do got a question from one of our viewers, from Bruce Thompson. He wants to know, do you send the freshman transcript to the school or athletic department? How would you get in contact with either if you have not applied?
So the transcript is going to go to the NCAA eligibility center.
Yep.
So they have their folks that certify people. So that's where you would have it sent. And then when you apply to the school, that fall of your senior year, then you're going to be submitting your transcript to their admissions office.
So while you're still in high school, when you're sending it to the NCAA, is that do you go through your counselor?
Yeah, you can get your counselor to send it to the eligibility center. Absolutely.
Right. I think another point that needs to be said, a lot of kids, if we don't have direct access to see what your grades are, you're telling us anything.
Man.
but if a school is actually looking at you, they're going to go to the school, your high school, and get the grades and get the transcripts. So that's fine that you can sit there and blow smoke to us, but ultimately understand that college is not going to take your word for it, and they're going to go actually pull your grades.
Transcripts don't lie.
No, transcript don't lie. And I tell you, we've encountered we encountered with numerous kids, to say that they had this, that, and the other, and that was the breaking point of having a scholarship one way or another.
Yeah, I talk to kids all the time on Twitter, and ask them how their grades are, and it's always good or whatever. And I just, what does good mean? Or it's A's and B's, and I ask them what their GPA is, and it's like a 2.4. So if you got all A's and B's, how do you have a 2.4?
Right.
Like, that doesn't add up.
Right.
So again, man, it's just grades. It makes things so much easier.
And then can either you kind of talk to Coach Sada or Coach Shat, either you kind of talk to just once that does happen, and when a school does go in and actually get those official transcripts and see what those grades actually are, what does that process entail next? As far as do the school kind of fall off?
I can tell you, your phone stop ringing. Period.
Yeah, if you can't get into the school, there's no point in them recruiting you.
Yeah. Phone stop ringing. I'm telling you, phone stop ringing. Period.
And it really just depends again on the school. So some schools, the more like highly selective ones, like they really like go through that transcript, line by line, and making sure are you taking AP, are you taking IB, are you taking honors, gifted classes, and if they don't see enough of those classes on there, then they don't waste their time either, because it's like, I know he can't get in.
Right.
So it just like I said, it just varies from kid to kid. If you're looking for more of that high academic route, then you gotta put yourself in those type of classes and do well in those classes to make yourself competitive.
No, I just think that's important, because I think a lot of kids just think, oh, my talent is going to get me there. But if you just if you're watching NCAA basketball right now, right, you're hearing less and less of kids being academically ineligible, right? So before, you used to hear that a little bit more than what you're hearing it now. And I think it's because the colleges are doing their due diligence and making sure that they're bringing in kids that's going to be eligible to play and doing what they need to do in the classrooms.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a 5-star, then yeah, I mean, you get a little bit more, room for error. They're going to work with you more, but most of our kids aren't on that level. So don't put yourself in a position where a school can they're not even going to recruit you because of your grades. And a lot of instances, coaches are looking for a reason not to recruit you. Don't let your academics be one.
Right. Coach, say that part again.
Well,
Let's stomp that again. Coaches are looking for reasons.
Yeah, coaches in schools, they're sometimes looking for reasons not to recruit you, and don't let grades be one of them. Size is another thing that often coaches just use to disqualify kids, and it makes sense in some instances. In other instances, it doesn't. It's like, if the kid can play, he can play. That there are examples of smaller kids with smaller size being successful at every level. So don't let that be a disqualifier automatically. Now, if you don't think he's a good fit or whatever, then that's another thing. But we got talented kids who sometimes get overlooked for things like that, and I think it would be better if more coaches gave them opportunities. And that's not something they can control. Like, you can control your grades,
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a great thing right now when we're talking about grades is them waiving the SAT and ACT scores.
Yep.
And we're talking about the GPA, the core GPA, and that comes into play now.
Yeah, really good point. Yep.
Right. Yeah, I mean, this year and last year, it comes into play big time. So that's another reason why that core GPA is very, very important as well. Because what if they consider, they say, all right, we just gonna do away with ACT and SAT scores? period. Now it goes back to that GPA. What's your GPA to get into school? That can be the deciding factor to, I mean, Division 2 or Division 3.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure some kids got caught up in that over this last year.
Yeah.
There were some kids who were probably going JUCO who became eligible because they waived some of those requirements. Yeah, definitely.
So, Coach, let me ask you, and this is your personal opinion. What are your thoughts on the SAT? Do you think it should be? Do you think those standardized tests should be a factor in a kid going to, whether it's a scholarship or academic or whatever? Because some kids do not test well, but they may have a high GPA. What are your thoughts on that? What's your opinion on it?
Can I just touch on something Coach Tad just said real quick?
Yeah.
What we're seeing now is a lot of schools are waiving those test scores when it comes to getting admitted to the school. But as far as like any kind of like academic or merit scholarships, a lot of them are still requiring test scores. So that's just something you have to keep in mind. I got one of my kids now who's looking at a school, and they told him to try to take the ACT because it could make him eligible for more academic money. I don't know how I feel about that, in the middle of a pandemic, but I know the school did tell him that. So that's something that the kids and parents have to keep in mind as well, that you can maybe get into the school, but in order to get more money, they may still require you to take those tests.
I think that's a great point, Coach, because that hasn't been talked about. I haven't seen that anywhere.
Yeah, so it's unfortunate, but to answer Coach Charles' question, I think they get way too much value and weight added to them. Because that can just be an automatic disqualifier for some schools. If you don't make a certain test score in the ACT or SAT, they won't even look at you, no matter what your GPA and other qualifications you have. And I don't think that should be the case. I think they're used to exclude people, and a lot of times it's people that look like us, to be honest. So I think long term, I think they're going to be done away with. I don't know that that's going to happen anytime in the near future. There's so much money involved. Like the College Board is I think $1 billion company, because they do SAT and they do AP tests and all those sorts of things. They make a ton of money. So and money talks. So getting rid of all that is going to be. I don't see it happening anytime soon. But I think the thought process, I think it is to exclude people, but I would also say they try to provide some sort of objective standard, because if I go to school, let's say I go to Warner Robins High School versus going to Centennial, there's no way to provide an objective analysis, based off the curriculum. Warner Robins may be a tougher school than Centennial, and we got two kids from those schools. How do we judge them fairly?
Right.
I think that's the argument they try to make. I don't agree with it, but I think that's what they try to do.
Yeah, that's a whole nother, probably a whole nother show.
but again, us as parents got to stay involved and got to know all the. Well, I ain't gonna say got to know all the ends, but need to know just about all the ins and outs of the getting in the school process, the FAFSA, and that.
It's a lot of stuff, and I think a lot of parents get really overwhelmed by it because it is a lot. It's even more so if you hadn't done it before. So I think a lot of parents get discouraged and frustrated and things like that. You just got to find somebody or connect with someone that can kind of walk you through it step by step. If you create a plan and then execute that plan step by step, it's so much easier than trying to do everything at once.
And I think sometimes it's the case, and I'm not saying that I'm not speaking for all parents, because all parents don't do it, but I think it's a case of when that kid becomes a freshman, sometimes parents say, "Oh, we think, all right, well, we got time."
Yeah.
In the blink of an eye, that kid's a junior.
Yeah.
Then all right, we got next year is senior. Blink of an eye, it's time for them to graduate and go to college. And now you're rushing, trying to cram information, and miss out on a lot. So I mean, and I agree with what you said earlier. The earlier you start, I think the more you find out, and the more you can actually get done.
Yeah, and that's kind of been a big frustration for me coaching 17U. A lot of times I get these kids at the end, and I don't want to say it's too late, but it's like just there's other things we could have done along the way to put you in a better position to get where you want to go. And there's just only so much we can do at this point. So, and we're limited in the options that you have, now.
Coach, let me ask you this, even from that standpoint, and to kind of talk about what you and Coach Tyler are speaking on, as far as kids that go out of state, do these same rules apply? Are these same grants available? Are these things available where if a kid doesn't know necessarily where they want to go in state or out of state, does that delay any of this process?
I mean, it's not going to delay the FAFSA because I mean that's like I said, that's federal aid that's applied to any eligible institution in the United States. You're not going to, as far as I know, unless they've changed it, you're not going to get HOPE, if you go out of state.
Right.
And again, HOPE it's more. What's the word I'm looking for? It helps more if you go to a public school.
Okay.
So it's going to cover, 80 to 85% of that tuition at a public school versus, going for instance, when I was in school, I went to West Georgia my freshman year. It covered all my tuition, my freshman year. And then, I transferred to Emory and I got like $3,500. Well, that sounds like a lot of money, but when the tuition is $40,000,
yeah,
it's not that much anymore. So, it's much more useful at the public and state level. So even if you go to a 2-year school where the costs are lower, the money it goes further if you stay in state and go the public route. Now that does limit your options from a basketball perspective, but if you're good enough, then like I said, you can get your education paid for entirely. You can get an associate's degree for free. You can get a bachelor's degree for free.
And I think it's equally important to know, even with the HOPE scholarship, you have to apply for that every year. So you have to maintain that.
You got to maintain those grades, absolutely. Like I said, in my job, I work with kids all the time who lose hope, and then they're panicking and trying to figure out how to get it back. And then unfortunately, I've had students who they even had to drop out because they just can't pay for school without it. So yeah, that's a great point. You got to maintain it while you're in school.
And he's speaking about the HOPE scholarship, not HOPE.
Wishes.
I hope I maintain this.
Right. Yeah, the HOPE scholarship. You do have to maintain a certain GPA, the 3.0 GPA, to keep that scholarship. And even with Zell Miller, you got to keep a 3.3.
Yep.
While in school to keep it. And like I said, I've had a number of students that I work with who have lost that scholarship because they, for whatever reason, they just didn't take it seriously, or something happened, and it made it a whole lot tougher for them to pay for school.
Yeah.
Coach, I know you spoke on earlier as far as it can be overwhelming. What will be your advice to the parents as far as who can they reach out to, or what are resources they can maybe go to online to know to kind of line these things up?
Yeah, I would start with your high school AAU coaches. Go there. Find a trusted adult who's knowledgeable about things and that can kind of walk you through things. I mentioned this last time, and I'm still working on creating my own thing. I'm working on the website right now to where I plan on being a resource for parents to assist with this. But you just got to find somebody that you trust and that's knowledgeable and that's going to tell you the truth, to be honest. Because from a recruiting standpoint, we just lose so many kids because we don't have enough people telling them the truth. about their level and as well as the things they need to do to get where they want to go.
Hey,
Shout out to my mother-in-law. Hey, Miss.
Hey, Miss English.
how you doing, Miss English?
Man, when you get that website up, man, man, let us know, man.
Yeah, I'm working on it. Basically, I'm starting my own business, to be honest with you, and the business is going to be focused on helping student athletes get connected to resources to make college more affordable. So, and like I said, there's just the money is out there. I promise you, it is. It just comes in different forms. We talk about Hope and Zelle; those are the kind of the most prominent ones. But said the Divine Nine, like we give away a lot of money every year. Now, it may be a little bit down this year because of COVID, but that money's out there. All these different businesses and churches and nonprofits give out money every year. It's out there if you look, and a lot of times we just don't know where to look. Or when we get there, we don't want to fill out the 1.5 page application and write the 350 word or less essay. So,
Hey, so I'm sure my eligibility and all that is up. But if I fill out the 1.5 page and a 350 word or less essay, can I get a $500?
we have to change the criteria a little bit.
Hey, you got to be 22 or younger.
So,
hey, Coach, can you kind of just? I think not. I don't think we skipped a step, but can you just kind of give us where your passion for all this came from?
well, my mom's an educator, so education's always been a focus and emphasis for my family. But I think just kind of the stuff I went through, I didn't know a lot of stuff coming out of high school, and if I did, it would have made things a whole lot easier for me. I would have worked a lot harder in high school, to be honest. I would have had a higher GPA, and I would have got to a different situation, and I wouldn't have the student loan debt that I have. I'm thankful for it in a way because, like I said, Emory's a great school. I had a great experience there. I got to, for my first time on a plane was from, going to Emory, all those sorts of things. I got to go New York, Chicago, Boston, all these major cities that for, if I hadn't gone to Emory, I probably wouldn't have been able to go to. But I think there's a different route I could have taken if I'd known better. And I don't want other folks to deal with some of the nonsense that I had to deal with, to be honest.
Yeah. Hey man, I definitely applaud you. Just from taking this stand and not making it all about basketball and basketball through and through, and making sure these kids are getting the opportunity. So we discussed this the last time we were on the show, but briefly, can you just kind of go over the fit piece as far as why that's important to you and what you kind of tell these kids when they come to you for guidance on the best fit for them?
Yeah, definitely. So break it down into 4 categories: it's athletics, finances, social, and academics. So I'll start with the academic piece. Can you get into the school? Does it have your major or an area of interest for you, something that you would want to pursue? If I want to be an engineer and the school doesn't offer engineering, why would I go there?
Right.
Finances, is it affordable for my family? Can we make it work without straining our family from a money perspective? Social, if basketball was taken away, would I enjoy going to school there? Do I want to be in a big city, or do I want to be in a more like rural area? If you go to like Georgia State, which is literally in downtown Atlanta, like we don't really have a campus. Like, some people would love that, other people would hate it. Versus, if you go to like an Albany State, like it's 2 completely different types of campuses and places. You just got to figure out what's best for you. And then lastly is the athletic piece. Number one, can you play there? And that's what trips up a lot of people. Because we all think we're D1, and we're not. Obviously, the numbers show that. But finding a level that you can play at and be successful at, that's a good fit for you to complement your abilities. You connect with the coaching staff. and it's going to offer you a good basketball experience. And that does not. There's a lot of different programs that can offer you a good basketball experience at all the levels. It's just a matter of what you're looking for.
So I would say this for the people that's out there watching. This applies to all sports. So
Yes.
the scouting may be different, the evaluations and the recruiting may be different. When it comes to applying for FAFSA and applying to schools, this process is the same.
Absolutely.
So one of that
goes from basketball to volleyball.
Yep.
So yeah, I think the academics piece, I think we could place more emphasis on that. I just asking kids what are you interested in, what do you enjoy doing outside of basketball, and I think we need to start exploring that ninth grade year, and again getting them involved in different things. Like I'm gonna plug Kappa League real quick, but like if you get your kid involved in Kappa League, they're gonna be exposed to a lot of different things and opportunities, and you never know what's gonna stick and when that light bulb will go off. And they figure out what it is that they may want to do long term. And there's other programs and things like that they could get involved in, and that helps with the financial piece. It's going to get them connected to more resources to make it more affordable, potentially.
So, Coach, I'm not familiar with Kappa League. What is that?
I mean, the best way to describe it is just our youth development program. So we have it's really for 9th through 12th graders. They can, and each chapter kind of does it their own way, but basically, just connecting them to helping them with that college application process, getting them do different enrichment activities and community service, all those sorts of things. Just trying to help them in their development from boys to men, essentially.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you, and I'm glad you kind of brought that up, but I think a lot of it is a lot of parents have to instill in some of these kids like it's okay to get into stuff like that. I think a lot of these kids I ain't gonna say afraid, but they think it's lame and not get into stuff like that, and that stuff is gonna help you. That stuff is gonna help you in the long run, toward what you want to do in college. And I don't think sometimes they understand that, but I don't think a lot of it is reiterated to them either.
A lot of that is image, social status. It's what kids get caught up in. So that's what a lot of that is.
I don't think a lot of parents are reiterating that to them, to get into stuff like that.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? And if they don't understand, it's gonna help them in the long run just as well. That's less money coming out of their pockets.
Absolutely.
Yep. And it makes them more well-rounded as well. So sometimes kids need to be introduced to other things than a basketball or something athletic.
I had a buddy of mine, man. He the joke was in school, man. The joke got grandma. He was in ROTC.
Yep.
He went in ROTC in high school. But when he got to college, the joke got into ROTC, man, to get that extra money.
Yeah, so it can connect you to those resources, to like scholarships, internships, part-time job, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But then it also looks good on when you're applying to college. That's something it's basically building up your resume. I mean, that's the way to describe it. Yeah. Like getting involved in all. I mean, when I was in high school, I was very one-dimensional. It was basketball, and
me too.
Like looking back, like unless you go into the league. I mean, that can't be your sole focus. You gotta figure out some other stuff. It took me until I was, like basically 30 years old to figure out what I really enjoy doing.
Hey, man, where's those reading clubs where you get them little pizza book, you get the little individual pizza? Like pizza, how did they bring that back? Kenny, 9 and 10.
I'm gonna tell you this: if it got anything to do with food, Coach Charles is going to figure it out.
So you might need. Hey, Coach Charles, you ain't too old to join the Boy Scouts.
No, man. I don't know if you want to join that.
Yeah,
hey, they got some lawsuits from the.
Yeah, they do. Yes, they do.
I'm good.
Hey, so look, I'm gonna switch it up on coaches for a minute. So I know you done brought up a couple times you are alpha, huh?
No, sir. No.
What are you?
That is not what I said.
He a Kappa.
Kappa.
He a Kappa.
You a Kappa?
I'm a Kappa. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, he got the cave.
So let's see the step, man.
I can't do that for you, bro. I'm too old. My knees can't do it.
Hey, we finna get a. Hey, we about to get a show.
Can we just see the hand movement or something?
Hey, and
I'm retired.
You got the cane? You still got the cane?
Hey,
Yeah, I got. Man, I got one from like when I was an undergrad. That's 11 years old.
Hey, coach, I know you spoke about the different sororities and everybody giving out the scholarship money. I think the AKA probably give out the most money out of them all.
Man, they do a great job of raising money. Like they raise so much money for our HBCUs. It's crazy. You trying to start something, I can tell. But yeah, I mean, I think all the Divine Nine, they do a really good job of giving out money and helping kids. Yeah.
Oh, what was that?
But like the alumni chapter I'm in, we basically share a meeting space with the Decatur Deltas, and they do a great job of providing scholarship opportunities. They actually have like their own kind of like youth development program as well, Delta Gyms, and like I said, they do great work. All the Divine Nine, I mean, like I said, there's opportunities out there, there's money out there. You just got to put yourself in position to be eligible for it.
There's a lot of money out there, man. That people that we don't know. I mean, that we don't know about, and I don't know about all of it either. So I mean, I ain't gonna sit here and say that I know about all. I don't know about all of it either. But I mean,
So I'll say this: it's not. I don't think we have to know about all the money, but we need to know where to find the information. Right. You know where to find the information, then we got access. You can get access to the money. So
right.
I think that's the piece. I kind of break it down. People talk about the achievement gap. So I don't really believe there's an achievement gap. I think there's an information gap, which leads to an opportunity gap.
Bingo.
Which then leads to an achievement gap. So a lot of times we don't know where to find the information. So then we're not able to access those opportunities. And that impacts the ultimate outcome. So
yeah.
Like I said.
No, I think I'm just taking some notes over here, man. So I think like this summer or spring or whatever the case may be, I'm definitely gonna reach out to even get the team involved, the AAU team involved in some stuff. So
yeah, and like I was saying earlier, I love doing. Yep, exactly. I figured they did. I love doing 17U because I like helping those kids directly get connected to colleges and things like that. But so I just catch them at the end of things, and it'd be much better in some instances if I had them from 14U, 15U, 16U, then 17U, and we kind of walk through that journey together. Because a lot of our kids aren't getting this information, and when they do get it, it's a little too late.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think we're gonna. I think I'm a. And I know I've been getting them a lot of information, but I mean I'm pretty sure there's more information that I could get and give, especially to the younger groups. And I guess we're gonna try to do a better job of that also, getting them the information and getting them started. Especially that freshman group started earlier and grooming that 8th grade group, for years to come, and start trying to get those parents and get them information that I never had growing up.
Right. So, and it's not just I think it applies to basketball as well. Just from this standpoint. I often have kids, hitting me up because or they saw a tweet or something about XYZ event or this and that event. You got to be strategic when that comes to that stuff too. Like you don't need to like go to every single thing you get invited to, or not. I wouldn't even say invited to. Every single time somebody solicits you to pay money to go to something, you don't have to pay to go to every single event.
Right.
You got to be strategic about the things you go to. Think about what's my reason for going. Is this going to help me accomplish whatever goal I have in mind?
Right.
Is it going to help me get further, or I'm sorry, get closer to reaching my goal? And if it's not, then what's the point of going?
Yep.
Just so you can say you went to this event.
Yeah, and I think those, just to piggyback off what you just said, and I think kids have to become more and more selective the older they get, because let's be honest, especially in today's in this year, if there wasn't any college coaches watching, if there wasn't a live stream, you should really be asking the question: is this worth going to?
Absolutely. If your goal is to play college basketball,
If your goal is to play college basketball,
you're saying that. If you ask a kid why they want to do something, the very first thing they're going to say is exposure.
Yeah.
And then my question is, exposure to who?
Right.
Yeah.
So, if it's a college coach thing, then okay, are there going to be college coaches there, or will they be watching? And if the answer is no, then how are you getting exposure to? Right. That's going to help you in terms of reaching your end goal.
Absolutely.
And that's the same. And I use that analogy with tournaments that we choose to go to. I mean, it's certain ones that you want to be at, certain places, certain circuits you want to play on. I mean, and it's to each his own. I mean, anybody play on whatever circuit they want to, but I mean, it's a difference. I can tell you that.
Yeah, it's definitely a difference, and it also depends on what players you have. And sometimes if you got certain players in your team, it doesn't matter where you play, people will be there.
Right.
But I mean, I haven't had that team yet. Hopefully one day.
Me either.
Like you said, you got to be strategic about where you go. You got to be strategic about all of it, because I mean, most of the people I work with, they don't just have unlimited funds, so you can't just be throwing money around everywhere. You got to be strategic about that. And luckily, I've had at least a few parents who kind of listen to me, and I think they've been successful because they've listened to what we try to get them to do.
Yeah, I think, and I've mentioned this a few times, but I think 2020 has taught us a lot, just based on everything that's happened with the pandemic. And making sure that we're utilizing and hitting the right places, and prioritizing where we're going and what we're doing and why we're doing it.
Absolutely.
To make sure. So I think 2020 overall has just informed us and made us more educated, I guess is the word, or more receptive to see what's going on and make sure we aren't wasting any time, because things have been limited all around. Yeah.
And that doesn't just pertain to basketball.
No. Yeah, I think that's life in general. But if we're keeping on this platform or whatever the case may be, the basketball aspect of it as well. But I think all of us, even the old heads, as they say, we've all looked at things a little differently and moved. Yeah, Charles, the old head. I'm not getting into that with you, but I think we've been moving a little different just because 2020 has been it's been a little different, man.
Yeah, it has. And it's made it harder for the kids. So we've had to adjust how we do things in some instances.
Yeah. So I know you say y'all hadn't been able to play any, switching it back to the AAU side, but have your kids, were they able to get out to go to some camps or be able to be seen or get an opportunity to get in front of some coaches anywhere?
Yeah, we've had a few, and some of them, play with some other teams this summer, and they were able to earn some opportunities. One of my kids went to that SEBA camp
Right.
Yesterday, and he was able to earn his first offer from Maryville College. So,
Okay.
very, 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 thank you. Very, very thankful for that. He kind of one of the examples I've talked about of him and his mom. You know, they listen. You know, it's hard when you're a small guard. So you know, if you're under 6 feet tall, it's just hard, and you gotta just trust what you're doing. You got to stay the course. It's not all going to happen like it would if you were, you know, a 5-star, you know, 6'8" 2 guard. You know, it's just not.
Right.
It's just things are going to work different for you. So they've done that. Like I said, they've listened to me. They got that FAFSA done on October 1st. He's already been applying to the schools that have shown interest to him. All those sorts of things that we ask kids to do, and it's going to work out for him because of that.
Trey Green, HB Morgan.
Yeah.
Small guard.
Yeah.
And it's the good thing about those guys, they're small guards, they got good grades. So that'll create more opportunities for them. But hopefully they've gotten that FAFSA done. And then, you know, if there's schools that have shown interest in them, you know, and they're interested in that school, go ahead and do that admissions application. You get that admissions application done, get that FAFSA sent in. That's when you hit the coach up saying, "Hey, coach, I've got my app in. I've done my FAFSA." You know, then you try to get on campus for a visit or something like that. You know, just kind of keep the ball rolling, get the process going, and that's how you get it done. That's how you put yourself ahead of those other kids who aren't doing those things.
Right.
Real quick, Charles, how does that play into maybe walk-on opportunities?
I think each program is different. To be a walk-on, I mean, I think there are certain things that you have to check off. You got to bring something to the table. I think grades is one thing. You know, they let kids walk on to kind of be GPA boosters for the team. There may be some kind of, for lack of a better word, political aspect to it. Maybe they're trying to get one of your teammates to come, and so they'll offer you a spot.
Right.
Trying to get your teammate to come. You know, that kind of stuff. That stuff happens every year.
Yeah.
So, or it could be that you know something that your mom or dad know somebody, and that's politics though. So they get you a spot. So,
hey, Coach, I'm gonna move to the GHSA real quick. So they came out with the new guidelines.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Kind of for you and Coach Tack. How you guys feel about the the no jump ball? Which it puzzled me. Like,
I was just trying to understand what the thought process was. I don't know that makes any difference in the game. Because I mean, unless we can be standing 6 feet apart during the game, playing defense and rebounding and all that. So,
Man, I mean, no jump ball, but I mean, you got the box out. I mean, unless it's gonna just be a long rebound.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't agree with that one, man. I don't know. Like I said last show, I'm good with the Georgia High School Association.
Amen. Me too.
Dr. Robert Hines, you know, I appreciate everything that you do.
Well, I would say this, Coach Tack and Coach Hixon. You know, Sean Williams, Ty Young, and other event coordinators have done these events successfully, and they didn't have to change much to the platform besides the number of attendees and things like that. So I think something could have been learned from this summer. I think Georgia kind of showed that this was capable, and you could accomplish it without changing too much and keeping some integrity to the game. I don't know if a jump ball was something that needed to, you know what I'm saying? I'm doing my little shake here, that needed to go.
Yeah, I don't think it impacts the outcome of the game. But I'm assuming they're just going to do. I need to probably read it in more detail. I think they're going to just give it to the visiting team to start the game.
Yeah. But I mean, why don't they just let them shoot for it?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you starting the game off like a pickup game. Let him shoot for it.
Well, the part I didn't understand was I think on the bench they were trying to say that
limit people on the bench as well.
Ted, do you know jump ball? What school you go to, Ted?
Man, I went to Warner Robins High School. I ain't never I don't remember that. I don't remember that. I don't remember that.
That was upward, wasn't it? Y'all played it upward.
No, but don't do me like that. Ain't no played no upward.
Hey, that's 5-6 rec, ain't it?
I ain't lying. Play with no jump ball. I don't remember that. And I remember they stopped jump ball when you get a tie up.
Yeah.
So I don't know, why not just do like football, do the coin toss, and then whoever wins.
Yeah, didn't they say something about doing the coin toss in overtime?
Did they? I don't.
Yeah, I think they said something about doing the coin toss in overtime.
You about to do it for the beginning of the game. What's the difference?
Man, I'm telling you, they might as well let them shoot for it and be through with it. I mean,
so
they might well go on and implement the shot clock.
Yeah, and
11th grade year. You don't remember that, Ted?
I don't remember that.
Antonio, send the video.
Send the video.
Yeah, send the video beginning of the game, man.
That's it. Hey, Antonio said y'all had COVID back in '97.
COVID '97?
COVID '97.
Goodness.
But no, I think a lot of coaches just appreciative the fact that basketball is going to be played. I don't know if that's breaking for most coaches. Most probably can deal with that small piece of it. Don't really understand it, but hey, we playing. Let's go.
Well, it's gonna be a case of they're gonna say, "Hey, y'all complain about this. We're gonna push you back to January."
Right. So I think that's the biggest thing. I want to see some basketball. So
thank you, Mr. Robin Hines. We appreciate everything you do. Every decision that you make is great.
Have they come out with the fan capacity yet?
Oh, that's a good question.
25%. I want to say.
Is it? Okay.
25%.
So is that across the board, or were they letting like each county?
I don't get me the line because I won't stop. I don't know if it's across the board or not. I know we were told 25%.
Yeah, I think it might be county by county, but I mean everybody's kind of doing their own thing this whole time anyway. So
is it currently 25% for football?
I think it is 25% for football.
25% for football.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I know those guys did a great job, man. Sean and Ty Young and them, man, they did a great job with everything that they was doing. Throughout the COVID situation, the temping and to making sure everything was straight, having the mask and all of that stuff. So I mean, I don't know. I guess it'll be more. I can't say it will be more people there because if you factor in the teams and the parents being at those tournaments,
yeah,
they ain't sitting in one section either. Because they kind of spread out different courts on where we were going.
Yeah,
but, I mean, still people in the building. I mean, same amount of people, but I don't know, man. I mean, they doing the best. They doing the best they can to try to protect everybody and make it, make it just whatever's good for everybody, man. And I think they're actually doing a good job. I'm trying to keep everybody safe.
Yeah.
But I mean, you ain't gonna make everybody happy.
Yeah.
It's definitely difficult.
So. No, and like I said, it is the difficult, man. I think I'm just excited that basketball is going to take place, man. I'm ready for it. Let's go. So that's a few kids I'm excited to see the growth and see what these kids about to. I think some kids about to step up and they talk about the rise. So I'm ready to see that.
Coach, when your season kicking off?
We play on the 20th, I believe. I think November 20th is the first game.
Okay, who y'all got? You know.
Let me find that schedule. I think it's South Cornett. No, I'm sorry. Osborne. I think we play Osborne on the 20th.
Okay. Good. Tat, when y'all kicking off?
Sometime in November.
I hear you. I need to memorize the schedule.
I me too. I do know this. I do that. I do know that. December 28th to 29th, the Screaming Demon Invitational. We are looking for two teams, two boys teams. Two boys teams had to drop out because their county restricted them for traveling. So now we are now looking for two teams, to play in the Screaming Demon Invitational on December 28th and 29th. Play two games. You got one. I mean, right now it's Warner Robins and Upson Lee. We're looking for two more boys teams to join us for that. If the schedule allows and county permits to travel. So I'm gonna get that information. I'm gonna make sure we get that information out on social media as well. But as far as when we play, sometime in November.
Sometime in November. So speaking of November, KP. So the up next camp, that thing is getting hot. So we have a lot of interest from the middle school group. So what we decided to do is kind of open it up for a few more positions. I don't know. This thing probably gonna end up closing out by the end of this week or next week, because it's been going pretty fast. So if you out there and you listening, get your kids signed up. If you're interested in doing this event, it will be an exposure camp. Kind of get some eyes on your kids and you can actually come out and see them compete against some talented kids for their age group.
So and that's 6th to 8th grade, November 7th.
November 7th. Yes, sir.
You got that flyer, Charles?
Yes.
Hey, it's I think it's like 3 or 4 spots left. So limited spots, man. Y'all better go and get on it if you're gonna do it. Gonna have some great trainers there. Heights out to be there evaluating. Doing this piece, who always does a great job. It's gonna be a pretty nice event, man, for the middle school to get them jump started into basketball. This coming up year, if they have a season, I hope they end up having a season.
Yeah, I hope they do too.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's gonna be a good sports camp for them.
Yeah. So again, November 7th, 6th grade through 8th grade. Come get that exposure. Come get that training. Come get out there. Get your face known. Understand what this process looks like. So, and again, I mean, just to kind of foot stomp that. So this is the first time an event like this is happening in this area. Typically, you have to get up and go to Atlanta to get in some type of event like this for a camp, an exposure camp like this. So what we're trying to do, again, bring everything to us to understand what it is. That's what we had our open run. That's what that was all about. The different showcases that are coming up as far as when the high school season starts. Hype South is having their showcase, high school showcase. Warner Robins is having their high school showcase. So this is another opportunity that we're trying to expose our kids in this area, Middle Georgia, South Georgia, whatever the case may be, South Atlanta, come down. Charles, I think we got kids signed up for this middle school camp from pretty much all over the state, correct?
Pretty much all over the state. And I tell you, middle school it's different, right? So it's different. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that these kids need to be on the map and things like that, because ain't really no college coaches looking at middle school kids. But what it does, this is what this camp is doing. So it's providing some eyes to help your kids to follow the development of your kids as they go through this process. So if the evaluator, the scouts, the local scouts or the Atlanta scouts or whatever the case may be, they have an idea of what's out there for those age groups, and they can and it allows them to follow the development of that kid. It's not saying that your kid or whatever kid is got the gold stamp, and because at that age, I promise you it will shift. This kid will go from here to here.
Right.
It all depends on how hard that kid works. So
Happens all the time.
out there.
And another, I mean, just from the open run that we had, right? So we had that open run, and I think that following weekend, Sean had his camp. Was it the breakout camp?
Yes.
The breakout camp. So we had some kids that were here that got identified that weren't on anybody's radar, so to speak, and then went up to Sean's camp up in Atlanta, and then they continued their progress, and they were actually able to get on people's radar, and people started tweeting about them and understanding it and got identified. So again, we're not trying to take credit as far as we're trying to put a kid on the map. We're just trying to give as much exposure as possible to understand how this game works, and understanding that now you're going up, so now you're on somebody's radar, and that can possibly lead to other opportunities for you. So, yeah.
I ain't explaining it to him. What's wrong thing? I mean, we're trying to get the kids exposed. I mean, we're trying to get them in your kid better opportunity, man, and play against some top notch kids, and and I mean, what else? You think what else? We're gonna beat up.
Right. Yep. Thanks, Coach.
So KP, so there are some things we do need to explain though. That October 5th is an important date for the state of Georgia. All right. So just a quick reminder: if you have not registered to vote, be sure to register to vote. The deadline is October 5th. Make sure your voice is heard. No matter what political party you are voting for, make sure your voice is heard and register to vote.
Man, I seen something the other day. Now I don't know how true it is, but I seen something that said they're allowing felons now to vote as long as they're not on probation
or parole or have any outstanding warrants.
Well,
in Georgia, I mean, I know in some states they are. I don't know if it's in Georgia.
Well, yeah, that probably will be state by state. Yeah, he's right.
There are some, and then there's some folks that had to get some fees paid off before they could.
Yep.
They could vote and things like that. Yeah.
So definitely.
Yeah, know your status.
Know your status.
So I'll say this, man. Every time I go on Facebook, I got it's either a message or a reminder or something about registering to vote. So as much as people are on Facebook, just click on that button and make sure that you're registered, and you know where your voting poll is for you to go vote.
Yeah, you go on the Secretary of State's website as well and get that information.
Yeah.
Man, I got folks texting me every day, man. I don't know how you get my number.
Man.
About what?
Voting?
Not registering to vote.
Oh.
I'm getting text messages from people from the same organization, and I'm just like, I already talked to, Ashley. Stop texting me.
Yeah, I'm saying I'm saying okay to everybody. Like okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah,
I just keep. Okay, I'm gonna do it. Like I'm like y'all asked me to clean my room. I'm gonna do it. Goodness, I'm gonna do it. I promise y'all I'm gonna do it. So don't text me tomorrow. I know y'all gonna text me, man. I'm gonna start treating y'all like scam likely.
So and then early voting is starting when?
I think it starts the 12th.
The 12th, I think
October 12th, I think.
Yeah, I think I talked to some of the kids about that, getting registered. But I think Rashawn said he already did it. Other jokers said they ain't old enough yet. I told them don't talk to me till they get older.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
that's really important. I try to talk to my kids about that as well. It's important, and it's not just a presidential race. It's
local,
Senate, Congress, state rep, state senator, sheriff, board of education, city commissioner, county commissioner, mayor, all that.
Do your research, people.
District attorney, that's another big one.
Yeah, that's gonna be sentencing, help can you do wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely get out there and do what you need to do on that aspect of it. And you on your phones any other time, so make sure you're doing your research, like Coach Charles said. Look up these candidates. Look, understand what they're about, how it affects you directly, locally and on a nationwide. So
I wonder if them people texting them like that.
Texting who?
Some young folk like that.
I haven't received no text.
Man, I've been getting them every day from
I haven't gotten them every day, but
from campaigns and from these like different like voting rights organizations.
No, I ain't
getting them every day.
I ain't got nothing.
How do you folks get my number, man? I'm just wondering.
I'm tired of the ads that pop up, like on my social media. Yeah, and them ads, I can't, like, them negative ads. Like, you're not gonna win me over with no negative ad. I don't care what party you belong to.
Man, we could go down we could that could be a whole nother show in itself.
You right. Like,
Yeah, you're right, but don't text me tomorrow, please, y'all. If y'all watching.
Charles ain't getting no text messages because he got a jail.
You know what? I'm glad you said that. If they tell me tomorrow, I'm gonna give them Charles numbers. Hey, I don't think we got registered.
Hey, let me tell you what. You know what it is? Y'all got I don't have a Georgia number,
but I got your number.
Don't send them my way.
So, hey, but look, man, we're gonna wrap this show, man. But I think it was a lot of important points all throughout the show. Coach, we always appreciate you being on the show, dropping knowledge and nuggets on us, man.
Thank you for having me.
I swear we're gonna have you on here about 5 more times before the school year is out.
Man, whenever you want me to, I'll be here.
Yeah. Hey, and then social media. So I do have to tell you this one. You posted something on Facebook the other day that had me cracking up at work. Was the with the Kermit about the you know what I'm talking about?
I think so. I post so much stuff. I'm be honest with you, I forget.
About being at church.
Oh man, yeah. Man, growing up, church was a 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. adventure every Sunday.
Hey, so just from that standpoint, can you give out your social media so people can follow you and reach you if they need to?
Yeah, definitely. I'm probably on Twitter the most. I think probably on Twitter too much. But yeah, if you got any questions for me or want to reach out, definitely send me a DM. My handle is at Coach Hixon Dimes, at COACH, capital HIXON, capital DIMES. Like I said, on Twitter way too much. So if you got questions or need anything, let me know. I'm usually sending out 1 or 2 rants per day. So, yeah.
Hey, and you know what? Real quick, I just feel obligated to share this about the church one. It was nothing negative.
Oh yeah, thank you.
It was nothing negative.
Yeah.
It was one of those. How did they go when the preacher said I'm about to rap, and then somebody next to you said, "No, go ahead and take your time."
Right, you just give him a little side eye.
Yeah.
Right. Take your time, Pastor.
Right.
Hey, y'all know how Kermit turned his head?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would.
That was my childhood, man.
That would have me cracking up, man. I was literally crying at work watching that one. But again, like I said, we appreciate you, Coach. Coach Tab, what you got?
Not much, man. I appreciate you coming on, man, and like I say, really enjoyed it. Just to talk in general, man, and anytime you want to be back, man, just let us know.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Hey, I'm gonna get with you about that.
Scholarship.
Yeah, scholarship. There. You know.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm trying to raise some money now for the spring one. So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Hopefully, you get more kids to apply for yours. I think you'll get more kids that apply for yours than I got to apply for mine.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And then just I asked a couple, why didn't they apply? And it's just one of them was I just didn't get around to it. Like, man, you had 2.5 months.
Right.
And then the others, they're like, well, I just didn't. I thought somebody else needed it more. I'm like, well, I guess that's fair, but like I had a handful of kids on my team who were like Pell eligible, so every little bit counts, every little bit helps. So
he thought somebody else needed. Let me ask something. When you on the court, do you think somebody else need that rebound more than you?
Well, it depends on it depends on if he one rebound shy of a triple double.
Man, I don't give a damn. Look, I don't give a damn.
Man, that's some Russell Westbrook, Ricky Davis type stuff.
Yeah. Hey, you ain't bring out Ricky Davis, did you?
Man, shot on his own basket.
to get that rebound.
One rebound shy of a triple double.
Yeah.
No, man. But no, Coach. Hey, we appreciate having you, man. Like you always bless us with a wealth of knowledge when it comes to this basketball world, the recruiting world, just the ins and outs of what it takes to get through that process and educating these parents and players and AAU teams. Coach Tag getting excited over that. So,
thank you, Coach Charles. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Again, Coach, it's always great, man. I follow you. I retweet a lot of your stuff. I like a lot of your stuff. Everything that you're putting out there is definitely inspirational and helping the kids out. So keep doing what you do.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
And like Coach Stack said, once you get that website up, let us know. We'll definitely pump it, man. Once you put it on Twitter, whatever, it's definitely retweeted or whatever the case may be. You don't even have to worry about that.
Just like family over here.
Yeah. And then in the spring, man, we're gonna have to get you down here to talk to the organization.
Yeah, definitely. I'm trying to get down to at least 1 or 2 games this year. Just gotta see what the schedule's looking like.
Yeah. When is Heights South? When is the Hardwood Classic?
28th. November 28th.
November 28th.
Okay.
28th.
Yeah.
That's Saturday.
It's a one day.
It's one day.
But then it's 28th.
28th. Yeah, because that tournament is 2 days.
Yeah.
We were looking at. Yeah, but
28th.
November 28th. Hardwood Classic. Hype South was presenting that one and putting that one on. So
I might be able to make that.
To be at the Demon Den.
Yeah.
Because I don't think we have a game that day. I was just looking at the schedule.
Yeah.
So I might be able to make that one.
Just let us know.
I got you.
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
So yeah, come down and love to meet you in person, man. So we'll definitely get that piece done. As far as all the viewers, we appreciate you as always. If there's more information you need from Coach, he gave out his social media. Definitely hit him up. I don't think he minds you hitting him up directly to get him squared away. As long as you're not badgering him about voting, he's gonna be all right. He already got that in the bag. He's already gonna do it, so we're good there. Again, thanks to our sponsor, Hype South Media, Hype South Skills Lab, KPB Design, 619 Training. Thank you guys again for supporting us. Other than that, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. We appreciate you all. Have a good night. Go ahead and watch the end of the finals game. I was trying to get a score, but I think the Lakers came back up, so I think it's about tied up.
91-89.
What's that?
91-89 Lakers.
Oh, they came back. So
yeah,
indeed. Had to get them brooms out. So
it's over.
Yeah. So we'll talk about it. Other than that, we out of here. Peace.